faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound, this amazing stranger from the planet Krypton, the Man of Steel, Superman. Empowered with X-ray vision, possessing remarkable physical strength, Superman fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice, disguised as a mild-mannered newspaper reporter, Clark Kent.
Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm vengeance.
I have given a name to my pain.
The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. I'm Batman.
And I've taken over again. That's 3 in a row, boys. That's is that in gambling terms? What is that like lucky aces or something? I don't gamble. I don't have money to gamble. Nobody. You guys always play blackjack, poker. The two of you, scrubs, bunch of scrubs.
That's just called a lucky night.
Lucky night. I'll take that trifecta.
Yeah.
Lucky night. All right, me and 2 girls. I'll
He's
take
hot.
that. That's not it.
Hey.
That's right. That's it. That's a lucky night. Welcome to the BOF podcast, episode 212. I am your host. I am Peter Verra, and today I've got 2 fantastic guests. One of us is a legacy BOF contributor. I believe his name was in the rafters. It was taken down. Now it's back. The one, the only, the rabbi of Riverside, Justin Kowalski.
What is up?
How you doing, buddy?
Say what's a rabbi.
The rabbi
That's
of
hilarious.
Riverside.
Yeah, well, I'm here. It's like my cape was taken down like Affleck when he retired his cape.
You're
Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that sucks about that no one be able to be on talk shows, because it would have been really funny for them to have him back on and go, I thought you were done, and put the cape back up.
Yeah, it's kind of a
That'd
bummer.
be
Someone should have asked him that during the Flash PR, but then because of the writer's strike, they couldn't do nothing. But
Yeah.
could have,
That's
would have, should have,
yeah.
whatever. But
Anyways,
that's
here
why we
I
have
am.
podcasts, so we could say it for him.
Yeah, he should have came on here. Come on.
That's
Affleck.
right. We're gonna get him next time. All right, well, I got a better guest here. He's the Dallas Cowboys' own Fireman Ed, and I hope to God he understands that reference. Do you get that reference, Micah Ramey?
I don't want to disappoint you right off the bat, but no. Do
Oh
not get
man.
that
Okay,
reference.
so here's the deal. Fireman Ed is like this huge Jet fan, right? So he's the crazy guy.
Oh,
in the
I've heard of
ballpark,
him. I've heard of him.
the stadium, who gets everyone up and starts cheering. He was actually a
Yeah.
fireman, so I think it's fitting. So I'm
Hey, is
looking
that who you
forward to
were? Was that what your video was? Was that an homage?
Well, I'm trying to inspire Micah to do that at the Cowboys games.
Mm.
That's what I need Micah to do. I want him to come out with like chaps and maybe like a Cowboys fireman
Oh
hat.
no.
You know what I'm talking about? And then maybe it's what is it called? You have like the nice little vest, like in it. It's got the little dangly things, like Dolly Parton, stuff like that. Real Texas stuff, real manly stuff. Yeah. Basically, I want him going out there looking like a cheerleader. That's not what I'm saying. But I want him to go out there and be like, the video board hype man. I think it would be fun.
Well, if any year's a year to do it, this is the year,
This
So,
is it. That's it. I'm looking forward. I think I'm really looking forward to the Giants Cowboys game. Real quick football tangent, just because I love trolling Giants fans in this area. So I'm really hoping that when that time comes, we'll be able to celebrate some victory.
How did you
Like,
not
I'm an
become
actual
a
fan.
Giants fan, man? How are you such a diehard Yankees fan and you just skipped over the Giants?
Because
Oh,
the Giants think they still play in New York. They don't. They play in a totally different state. They
Where do they
literally
play?
they play in New Jersey. They
They
literally
do.
play across the river. Both teams do. The only real New York football team is the Buffalo Bills, because they actually
yeah.
play in the state.
that makes sense. But, I
That's
mean,
why.
they're pretty much Canadians. They're so far north.
Well, I guess that sucks for New York City. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, for a city that's got everything else, they don't got football. That's all.
you don't have room. You don't have room for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's New York City. They can find room. They'll find room. If they can build a building for the Nets, they can find a building for a team that actually, contributes to championships and league growth. So,
Hey, San Diego needs a team.
They just lost one.
I know.
So is Oakland. Everyone's leaving
So sad.
California except for the Dodgers and Giants. What's it called? The Warriors moved. They moved across the bay. They went from Oakland to San Francisco. That's like seven. Every time I'm like, Justin, what's it like now that the Warriors moved? And he's like, dude, that's like 8 hours away.
Yeah.
Like,
No one cares.
Your state's so long and weird. I live in this small state. Everything's like a half hour away from each other. You guys live in these big states where like it takes like 40 minutes to go to Walmart. That's just weird to me.
Yeah, forget it. Not worth it.
All right. Anyway, let's talk about things people want to hear. And
I can't wait.
That's the topic of Twitter, and that is Superman Legacy. I'm surprised James Gunn hasn't broken Twitter yet. I guess that's because now we have Threads and Mastodon and whatever other social media platform everyone's vented off to. But it seemed to be all the rage because the casting did not go the way that, I mean, I know for one, I'm not really happy with from what I've heard. Justin and Micah, you guys seem to be really pleased about it. So far, what we know, outside of Superman and Lois, we've got a Green Lantern, a couple members of the JSA, and an outsider. So Nathan Fillion's going to be playing Guy Gardner. Isabella Merced will be playing Hawk Girl. This guy, I'm going to butcher his name, Edie Gathke. He's going to be Mr. Terrific. And Anthony Kerrigan of Gotham fame will be your Metamorpho. I was shocked when I heard this list of characters. None of these really sound like Superman characters to me. They seem like they're characters for other sectors, obviously. I'm curious to hear Justin's thoughts in more than 160 characters, so I'm going to lead off with him. He'll be the most controversial. So why don't you take a shot at it?
Yeah, I love the DC universe, so I'm like, oh, sweet. There's going to be more characters like introduced into the universe. So, like, I mean, I don't know what this movie's about, and so I can't be. I thought this was a Superman movie, you know, like that whole like that take online is like, I get it, but I also feel like, what are you complaining about? We don't even know what the movie's about. We don't know if it's is this end credit stuff? Probably not. I'm sure that there's a reason. And I was thinking about it too with the whole point of the title being Superman Legacy. Is it because he is, you know, as he comes into who he is he creating like a legacy of superhero heroics? Like, hey, this is how we ought to be. I don't know. But I feel like James Gunn is very particular with like how he approaches things. He's definitely a guy who grabs from the bottom of the box. You know, he doesn't grab the top names. He's not going to put, you know, Flash and Martian Manhunter in there. He's like, oh, I'm going to grab, you know, Mr. Terrific. Like, that's cool. I like Mr. Terrific, dude. Like, I hope that he's more indicative of what he was in the Strange Adventure crossover miniseries that Tom King did. That thing really elevated him because he was kind of floundering for a little bit. But I'm a fan, so I'm like, all right, cool, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, like, that's cool. Guy Gardner's like my favorite, and so I was really excited to hear about, you know, Nathan Fillion being Guy Gardner. A lot of people I get like, oh, he voiced Hal Jordan. Like, okay. Like, I mean,
the man, he's an actor. He's got to make money.
Yeah, but I think he'll be great as Guy Gardner. Man, I'm just excited to see movement on this, and then if it's bad, okay, then I'll say it's bad when it comes out. But as of now, it's not bad or good. It's just casting, and we don't know. I mean, it is easy to go, oh, this is just like the, you know, some of the same issues we've had in the past, but. I think that's just an easy way to be critical instead of going, well, let's see what he's doing.
You don't think that criticism is fairly deserved?
Not for him, because he wasn't a part of the old regime. Like, this is literally the first thing out the gate that they're trying to get done, like theatrically, right? Not counting the Creature Commando stuff. Like, if you're gonna compare it to anything that the old regime did, like like if this wasn't James Gunn, if this was like, let's say it was another, you know, director that they hired under the Hamada / you know, WB interim, like, you know, people, it might be like, oh yeah, what are they doing? But like, this is a whole new thing that James Gunn's trying to put together. I can't put that stink on him, right? It's like, you got a new coach, right? New season. You know, he's bringing different players onto the team. Like, let's see what he's doing. Let's see what he's doing, because I don't know what he's doing yet. It may feel a little more, you know, someone said, oh, this feels like Black Adam 2.0. Like, okay, that's a cheap shot. Let's see, right? Like, let's see what he's doing. I doubt it's going to be in the same like mold of those films. That's all. So like, and then for me, the again, the sweetness to it is like, I love all these characters. Like the Batman 89 made me a DC fan, you know, from watching Batman and checking out the comics. It kind of made me like, oh, look at all these characters. Like,
Yeah, your intro drug.
yeah, it really was. And so like, I get how they all work together. Like, oh, it is cool when they're able to mix it up. Now, I don't want it to be like, you know, Superman and these guys the whole film, right? But who knows what it's gonna be about, dude? We don't know. We have no idea. Let James Gunn do what he's gonna do. He obviously has a plan. So,
and that was the thing that everyone complained about, the plan. So
we don't. But I mean, he has a plan, but we don't know what the plan is. Yeah, we don't need to know everything. We just
agreed.
We know that he has said, hey, this is what this is. It's Gods and Monsters. And he's kind of peppered social media with some things. Like he dropped a Mr. Terrific picture a long time ago. And then so that was cool. So
Micah,
yeah, man.
First thoughts. Oh, okay, finish up. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that was it. I'm cool. I'm excited. Like no reason to be upset as of now. Maybe in 2 years, if it's not good, then I'll be upset.
Micah?
I think I fall in the camp more aligning with Justin. However, I do understand all the discourse and the doubt and worry that comes with all of these castings. But I mean, like what Justin said, we got to wait and see what this movie is. We have no idea. It's called Superman Legacy, but we're not entirely sure what that, legacy is. And I think a fundamental difference between this movie and this new DC universe versus BVS is that BVS had to introduce all of these characters as if, besides Batman, all of them, it was their first appearance coming into that universe. The Flash, Aquaman, Wonder Woman. I mean, her films kind of laid some context to that in the past, but it was the first time that world had seen any metahumans like that, gods, if you want to call it that. But in this new universe, all these characters kind of already exist. Superman isn't the first metahuman. So to me, it just kind of inherently makes sense that, if the universe exists, they're going to be in the movie. Why would some of them not be in the movie? And I've seen James Gunn talk about it on Twitter, saying that these are Superman's metahuman friends. So of course, with any type of conflict, he's going to, want to talk to people that he has similar qualities to. I mean, if he's, still pretty young being Superman, he's going to need some mentors or something like that. And I mean, we're just so unfamiliar with the movie and what it is. And the one thing that leans me to be more positive about all of this is James Gunn. I mean, after watching Guardians Volume 3 this year, I am so sold on what he wants to do.
I still haven't gotten to that yet.
It's
oh man,
it's brilliant. I mean, I think it's the best one of the trilogy. I really do. It closes things very well. The characters are amazing. The development. I think it's one of the best films he's ever done. And even with the Suicide Squad, I love James Gunn. In the comic book realm has never really missed for me personally. So if you don't like his movies, I understand maybe if you are a little worried moving forward with him, guiding the entirety of the DC universe. But I'm really excited for this new DC universe. I really am. One was Superman, and two, these characters he's introducing. It's not just, I mean, eventually we're going to get Batman and the Brave and the Bold, but it's not the same characters. You're getting Mr. Terrific. You're getting Guy Gardner. You're getting Hawk Girl. And Metamorpho is an awesome character. I mean, I grew up watching Justice League Unlimited, and he was one of the coolest characters in that show by far. Even though I'm pretty unfamiliar with these actors, besides Nathan Fillion, who's fantastic and whatever he does.
I mean, I'm unfamiliar with all of them except for Nate Fillion and what's it called? Gotham guy. I don't even remember what he played in Zaz. He played Zaz.
Oh yeah. But I mean, overall, I'm pretty positive about it. I am, still kind of worried that maybe they're trying to do too much at once. I know the Authority is in the movie as well. So
that's another thing. They haven't even cast them yet.
Yeah. So we'll probably be getting all that soon, and the discourse will just keep ramping up from there. But we got to wait and see. I think we should just stay positive. It's James Gunn. I think this guy knows what he's doing, and he's proven his merit at this point. So we just got to wait and see.
Yeah, for me, casting announcements, I feel like, are something that is used to really hype up the crowd, get everyone going. It's your first real direction into kind of what the director is thinking, right? Like we don't have a trailer, we don't have artwork, we don't have costume design, we don't have anything, we just have names. To me, though, I was under the impression, and maybe I led myself that this was me more of from what I gather, I don't know if this is actually more of a Superman movie or if this is some sort of like JLU commercial for the DCU that is already in existence. Like, is this? I'm a little concerned that this is more of the same and similar to BVS. I feel like we should, and I don't know if the movie's going to do this, but I feel like it should be focusing more on who Superman is before we explore the greater world of the DCU, because I feel like we haven't loved a Superman truly in a very long time. I feel like the sector's been really, the DC fan base has been really split, and this casting announcement just doesn't do it. I instantly I'm like, are these guys in post-credit scenes? But it seems like no, these are the characters that are within the movie, and I never really think of any of these characters grouped together. You know, as I got no issues with any of the characters. Like Mr. Terrific, long overdue for some sort of real cinematic treatment, right? I mean, what we got on the CW was not, you know,
yeah, it was
not the
Terrific.
best, as much as I love the CW. But I'm a little shocked we haven't heard more of traditional casting. Maybe like a Ma and Pa Kent. Like I'm more worried about the Superman stuff. This seems to me that it's going to be a more vast DC universe movie than I actually thought it was going to be, and that kind of gets me nervous. Like I go back to BVS and wondering, like, you know, if you guys didn't try to force feed certain things would have been different. I feel like for years we've been preaching the take it slow model and kind of build up to something, and I feel like they're just building up to it now. You know, just they're out the gate, they're just giving it to you, and I feel like that's what kind of lost the audience the last time. Like, there's no explanation, we're just here. These characters have been here for how long now? I mean, I don't know how long these metas have been around. How long has the DC universe actually been, you know, built, in a sense that, you know, we haven't seen? Has it been 10 years established? Like, I don't know the time frame of this. So I'm not optimistic. I'm just very cautious right now. Like I personally, I don't like what I'm hearing in terms of this movie. That's just it. Like, none of this really excites me.
Yeah, I would look at it like this. These characters are just, it sounds like they're supporting cast characters. So whether he's in, like, and I love and you referenced it, Micah, the quote that James Gunn had. He's all, hey, Clark Kent hangs out with Lois and Jimmy and Perry White. Superman hangs out with, you know, his compatriots that, you know, they you know, fight crime and stop bad guys. If we're gonna start and jump into this world as an established DCU, then there's gonna be other superheroes. Like, we get that, and I think that's what he's gonna do. It's like I'll reference something that you hate, Pete. It's like Star Wars. You start Star Wars and there's all these characters, right? And we don't know, you know, where Han Solo comes from. We don't know where Leia comes from, and all these things. We'll learn, and I think there's going to be a little bit of that. Like, oh, here's some characters, they're previously established. He's going to be doing something. Maybe the movie opens up and they're cleaning up like a big battle with like a Mazo or something, and he's like, all right, guys, thanks a lot. And Guy Gardner's being a jerk, and he's just like, be better, guy. Whatever, flies off. You know, I don't know. And maybe the Authority shows up, and maybe these are things that help establish like why he's good, because James Gunn has been like, dude, this guy, he inspires you want to give him a hug, like all these things, but you got to have reasons for him to exercise those qualities. And maybe there is a little bit of him being like the leader amongst these other characters, and in being like the direction of like, hey, here's how we ought to be to like the Authority, because we know the Authority is like the freaking like Justice League, you know, gone bad type of situation, the way they handle stuff. And so I don't know, and that's not, I don't know anything, that's just kind of like my take, is like these characters will platform his character, like, well, because the other films, like, you know, Superman 78, he's the only guy around, right? And that's not the film that James Gunn is doing. He's not making a solo Superman film that exists in a world where there's nobody else. That's just not what he's doing, right? And
that's clear as day.
yeah, and exactly. And so we're going to get something different. Man of Steel, same thing. Like, no one else was really around. You know, you got little Easter eggs here and there, but I don't think
Man of Steel got twisted around at the end. Like, you know.
Well, yeah, but like, thought being like, you know, there was little points to, oh, there's a bigger world out there, but like this world has been clearly established to be a part of a bigger world, but it's still going to be Superman's movie. But it's like, these other people exist. There's probably not I think we're putting so much onto it. Like we're writing this terrible story.
Well,
You know,
I've written a horrible movie in my head already.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
But
why?
that's just because I'm terrified.
I know, but you're gonna
I
you're
am.
gonna get all the other characters. You're gonna get Ma and Pa. You're gonna get Perry White. You're gonna get Jamie. You're gonna get all the characters
Oh,
that you want to see. You're gonna get
and-
Maggie Sawyer. You're
right.
gonna get, you know,
I want freaking Titano, for crying out loud.
yeah. You'll
I'm
get everything. You'll
that's
get everything.
fine. I'm just saying, as of right now, this casting announcement, these announcements, honestly, do nothing for me.
That's okay.
They just don't, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But that's just me expressing my opinion. Like this
Yeah.
move does not move the needle at all for me, and,
Yeah.
and it makes me question, like, what are you doing? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just weird to me because just the state of DC is. Well, we just had a movie with Hawkman that bombed.
Yeah.
Now we're going to introduce Hawkgirl. You know, for the first, finally we get a Green Lantern, and I actually understand this part. I get why it's Guy Gardner. Out of all the Green Lanterns, he's probably the most disposable. Post credit, like mid credit scene, whatever, cameo in and out really quickly. Like, I get it. You know, you could save John and Hal for your big spectacle Green Lantern feature, whatever that is on Max or on the big screen. I get why it's Guy Gardner. That makes sense. But it's like, it's interesting that he's just that's at least that's what I'm thinking he is. Like, I don't think Guy Gardner is going to be a huge part of the movie. I don't think I actually don't think any of these really are outside of Mr. Terrific. Like, I could see, but then again, like, I see Mr. Terrific in like the Fortress of Solitude with T-spheres, and him and Superman are like playing with crystals and stuff like that. Like, it seems more Justice League than it does Superman to me.
That seems cool to me. So to me, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, but here's the other thing: like, you got Metamorpho and Mr. Terrific, and that's half of the Terrifics, that team. So like maybe Plastic Man and
when I think of Metamorpho, I think of the Outsiders. I don't think of
I think of Justice League Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay,
like, you know, like I have.
He's been around for a while. That's like when what's his name, the moron on Twitter's like, I don't know who this is. Well, it was like, well, because you don't put in the work, you know. Like, I'm like, how do you not know Metamorpho? He's been in like all these cartoons.
Yeah.
I think he's been around. I think Old School Outsiders. Micah, do you have any connect these characters? Like, when was the first time you picked up on these characters? When you hear these names, what medium do you think of? What kind of content comes to mind?
Mostly, I mean, Metamorpho is the first one that comes to mind. I was actually pretty excited about. I'm not too familiar with Mr. Terrific, honestly. I know he was in most of my DC knowledge. I mean, I read a lot of the comics too, but watching that, I mean, Justice League Unlimited was coming out in the early 2000s. I was, a very young kid. Like, I was the target audience. So
Terrific was in there, right? I tuned out Justice League.
Yeah, he's on there. He just doesn't say. I don't think he has any lines. He's just kind of there.
Yeah, they have a lot of background characters, and like, Catman and all these other obscure DC characters are there, but they don't really get fleshed out too often. Guy Gardner, I'm a little bit more familiar with. Just as I guess the third Green Lantern, which makes sense. I think it makes sense for him to be in this movie rather Hal and John, which I know apparently we're getting that Max kind of True Detective style,
or
Green
even
Lantern
Kyle,
show. Or even Kyle,
Cruz, Baz, any of the Green Lanterns. I think he especially with Fillion. I honestly think it's perfect casting. To be honest.
It is perfect
as much
casting.
as it doesn't move the needle for me. I'm like, he's great as Hal, but I could totally see him as Guy Gardner.
Yeah, and I understand your worry about Hawkgirl. It does kind of seem weird. Like, why is she in the movie? She seems kind of, to me, the most random, even though all these characters are very obscure, and she's, I guess, a little bit more of a mainstay. It seems kind of weird that she's there, but I mean, again, we don't know the context of these characters. We have no idea.
We don't even know if this movie connects to Black Adam.
And I think,
Hawkgirl.
I don't think it will.
It's in my head. I'm just saying.
I think. I mean, I think there's a reason why we're getting you got the two big ones, Superman and Lois Lane. Those are obviously the two most important castings in that movie. Just third, and I thought they were great the villain, and I think they're great castings too. But I think there's a reason why we're getting all these castings first, and we don't know who the villain is. We don't know who that person is going to be. That seems to be maybe a mystery for a while. And I think
I wonder if it is the Authority.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe
it might be the Authority, but I don't know. I know Brainiac is rumored to be a villain, which. If he is the villain,
that's a lot of fan speculation. I thought.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of. I mean, what is Brainiac's whole spiel? He takes over the minds and wills of people. So it kind of makes sense that if he is the villain,
the cities,
he's going to take over all these characters, which would be interesting. Dynamic with Superman fighting his friends, which I think would be cool to see.
Oh, see, that's cool.
Yeah, but and he's such a nice guy.
That's
so I
cool,
think
Pete.
it's a cool
Feels
dynamic.
very Starro, like his last DC movie.
But one thing I'd like to touch on is just Pete, I understand why you're nervous about this. How it seems to try to do too much all at once, potentially.
Yes.
But
there's a lot of what I was worried about with the Flash too.
But I mean, we've already got Man of Steel. We already got the first Superman movie that kind of told the origin of Superman, and he
I agree. Origin tale's not the way to go.
Else.
We got it.
He's already existed before everyone else. So to get another Superman movie, only was it 12 years after Man of Steel, that kind of tells the same story again, and Superman is the first metahuman, I think that would be a mistake. That is, to me, that is more of we're doing the same thing again, rather than, go ahead, this universe already exists. Superman is newer to this universe. And I think Justin used a great example of Star Wars. I mean, no one ever in their right mind thinks about Star Wars. Like, well, where did all this come from? What are the origins?
I think it's what era of Star Wars you compare it to, though, because there's an era of Star Wars. Like, Star Wars doesn't have years of continuity. Like back when New Hope came out, like it was the first. That's just your introduction. You don't know anything until you sit down in the theater. Yeah. Meanwhile, like even going back to '78. About Superman. He's been around for how many years before that?
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I mean, like for the side.
And you're going to deal with idiots like me who love the history and argue over it all the time.
Yeah, so but I think that's what's kind of like, we're so entrenched in all this stuff. We know everything. But like, if you take someone to a film and they watch this film, like, oh, who's Hot Girl? And here's the beautiful thing about the Hot Girl stuff. Like for like people who are like Micah's age, there's a lot of folks out there like mid-20s now that are like, oh shoot, that was Hot Girl, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if it's Shayra or if it's Kendra. So people, there's a familiarity there that might be with some of you guys. Like, oh yeah, I remember her from the show. Like, there you go, you got that. And then, I think that we overthink like the stuff when it's a random character, because most of these characters are random characters, right? And like even Guardians of the Galaxy, all random characters, right? Well, all they had going for them was like the name brand of Marvel at that point. Like, shoot, after Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm there. I'll watch whatever. They had some brand loyalty, so that helped. But I think you
mentioned brand loyalty, but does Warner Brothers or does DC have that at this point?
No, but I think they're going to trade. They're going to trade on the fact that
James Gunn.
They are gonna. I think that's
the Marvel guy.
That's because they just hired their marketing person.
No, I get it.
Yeah, but
I understand what they're doing. I'm just saying, I don't know if it's going to work.
Yeah, the Marvel guy.
But did it work?
That's the general audience.
Man of Steel.
The general audience trusts Marvel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then
overall
from the guy, and then all right, I'm just trying
to from the guy who brought you the Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh,
it's like when I see Man of Steel trailers and I see from the visionary director Zack Snyder, it's like none of that means anything if the audience doesn't show up, right? If the audience doesn't like it,
we don't know.
Like,
maybe they could totally reject it. Who knows?
They could. I'm just wondering, like, how do you word that on your trailer from the man who brought you Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad? Like, is that what you're wording it as?
Maybe
because you're not going to put the Marvel logo there, right? Obviously,
no, you can't. But like they've done that in the past. Like they're like
they did that for the Suicide Squad marketing. I remember that.
They did. I don't remember. So if they did that, then that's fine. But again, that movie came out. I can't judge that theatrical run legitimately.
Yeah,
because it happened during the height of the virus. So it's like I'm not gonna make some stupid zaddy stance. Right? No, it failed. It didn't work. See, it's like I can't do that. Like you look at the time the movie came out. Like I'm being realistic here. I can't. It's just I just want to say as a fanboy, I'm a little nervous. I just get nervous. I'm like, man, you guys are like jumping out the gun again. It's like all these characters, like I don't know. It's like, which one of these guys is the Scoot McNairy of this movie? Like, kind of like this character who's like meaningless, he's just in there.
That was the Flash.
Yeah, remember that? Like, it's that's what I'm saying. Like with these casting announcements, we all jump our guns, and then you get set photos, and the guy doesn't have legs. You're like, see, that's it. He's Wally West.
Yeah.
I just
remember the other. What was the other girl that was? She was supposed to be Batgirl. She was never Batgirl.
Oh no, she was. What was her name?
She was just like an assistant that was like given.
Yeah,
like,
she was in the extended cut. She's in a lot of his movies. I forget her name.
Jenna Malone.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's
yeah.
It. But
anyways, I get what you're saying, Pete. I think with this one, it's just a whole new beast. This isn't the universe like, hey, we're going to introduce a new character and we're going to like spin him out of this thing. Like I guarantee like Guy Gardner's probably going to show up in the Green Lantern show, probably, right?
Like,
but for that,
well, remember, this is supposed to span film, television, animation, video games. Like these, Nathan Fillion from now until the end of this universe is Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
In his even if they go to print, it's got to look like him. If it's a video game, it's his voice. Like this is it. These people are appearing all over, like they're really stuffing this down our throat.
And like the other side of this, like is these aren't like big name actors. So I also think about like the ability to maybe keep budgets down a little bit. Maybe there's an approach like,
which we all agree they need to do.
Yeah, they need to slash budgets on all these things so that their profit margin can be like a little more realistic as well. Because this doesn't have to make $1 billion now, right? We can just think about.
I don't know what is a realistic expectation for Superman film right now.
Hey y'all, it's Bill Ramey, founder of Batman on Film. Let's take a quick pause in this podcast for these words from our sponsor.
I would say
it's not.
I would say received critically pretty well, and the fans enjoy it. And it's commercially somewhat successful. I think would be a win.
Yeah,
would be a huge win.
I think it has to come in line with what Man of Steel did.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, adjusted obviously with inflation.
You think so? Because they weren't happy with that.
I know, but like they have to be now. It's a different world.
And that made more than Superman Returns. So I'm like,
I know, because the movies actually back then
they made more.
The expectation was $1 billion. Avengers made $1 billion. Dark Knight Rises made $1 billion. Superman has to make $1 billion. And then since it didn't hit their expectation, that's why it changed everything. But I think now, it's a different process. James Gunn is the studio head now. And so maybe he gets to dictate because him and what's his partner's name again?
Peter
Safran. Safran's there to dictate budgets and help on that side of it. And so they may go, hey, if this film hits, 550 post-pandemic, new era of, blockbusters. I just read a whole thing about like how Steven Spielberg predicted, like, we're going to overly inflate our films and expectations and we're not going to make any money. And that's this summer is indicative of
that's
that.
it.
Every one of these films is like $300 million.
Was that a trade article?
I don't remember. I don't know where I saw it, bro. I was just scanning and read it, and it was like it said Spielberg predicted this like 10 years ago or something like that.
Simpsons did
it. yeah, the Simpsons did it, right? And so we'll see how all these other. We'll see how Mission Impossible and Barbie and Oppenheimer and all these other films how they do. Because that's
funny because those are movies I'm not really interested in.
Yeah, but I think overall,
but everything I saw bombed.
Yeah, everything you saw bombed. So we'll see. And I think with the screenwriters strike and then the actors potential strike, like it's going to reset a lot of stuff. And I think it's going to pull back expectations. I think people are going to be a little more careful on productions, on like what we're making. How are we doing it? How are we approaching things? I think this whole summer is like almost a Hollywood reset. And so,
to people like me who are concerned, one thing you have to understand also is all these deals for these actors were made before the latest strike. Like that's the reason why they got done. They really tried to at least get this out there, probably to try to separate attention between the strike and what's going on, like trying to actually put something out positive, because everyone hates every studio right now because because of the strike. So this was like a rush job, I think, to get this out there to try to create some positive studio news. So there's probably other people in what I would say more traditional Superman roles that I'm interested in that probably just can't be announced until what's done, because the strike is actually taking a larger toll than I thought.
Yeah.
I don't remember really much of the last one in 07, 08-ish. I remember the fallout between Justice League, Mortal and whatnot, like because of BOF at the time, but that's all I cared about. But now as an older fan, I'm like, wow, this domino effect was really huge.
Yeah.
This is very
Did you see the video of what's his face? Zolo
Ron
the
Perlman?
Oh yeah, yeah, he's just threatening.
I was like, is Ron Perlman trying to burn down the executive's house?
Yeah, he's all, I know who you are. I'm gonna burn down your house.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shoot,
there's another way to lose your house. I'm like, okay, Hellboy.
Like that's not, he's made a threat. No, I was
actually
say,
more in line with his character from like Alien Resurrection.
Oh God.
Like, look, yeah, it was like straight up Sons of Anarchy. They're gonna roll over there on their bikes and No, but the kid from Blue Beetle, he was just saying like, hey guys, like, unfortunately, I can't even promote this now. Like,
yes,
that's like I felt bad. Like this kid can't even promote the movie he's in, and it needs all the promotion it can get. He
Oh,
literally
my
made like a
God.
battle.
and
He
I'm
made a
sitting there, I'm
request.
like, man, that's why I have that. You know what? If Keaton was able to get out there, I might have been able to get a few more bucks.
I really
The
think
Flash
so. Like
release.
a lot of folks didn't see his face on the typical media like appointments that you would see. You know, I told you guys, there's guys that are like, Keaton was in this. I was like, yeah, you didn't see the trailer. Like, oh, I thought it was Pattinson and Affleck. Like that was like the general consensus from folks. So
yeah, the strike has really taken a toll. I did not think it would do what it has, and it's delayed other event. Obviously, I mean, there's certain movies like Deadpool just stopped production because of the strike. But things like The Penguin haven't even really taken off, and they can't even do like pre-production or anything at all anymore.
Yeah,
so Hollywood's really shut down. I don't know how much longer they're going to go about this, but I'm hoping for the writers and the actors.
Yeah, once the actors get involved, I think it's going to really put pressure on the studios to figure it out, because now you can't even shoot. Like, who are you going to shoot unless you're like a small indie flick, or you're. I thought Deadpool could still, because they're filming in England or something.
I have no idea the details of it, but I know they just stopped. That Venom 3 stopped yesterday too. A bunch of I didn't even know
Venom 3 was filming right now.
Oh my god, dude! Micah, you see any of those Venom movies?
I've seen the first one.
That's all you need to see. Carnage. There's about half hour worth of carnage on the cutting room floor.
Carnage is so bad, dude.
Yeah,
but made money.
Yeah. I don't know. That's what, isn't that crazy? Venom's getting a trilogy.
How do we live in a world where they made no sequel to Man of Steel? They made 3 Venom movies.
It's like, oh man,
we got an Ant-Man trilogy. What is going on?
Ant-Man trilogy, dude. Oh my god, Zack Snyder got a trilogy. Everybody's got a trilogy. Oh man, I hope Superman Legacy gets a trilogy, guys. I really do. I hope it's really good. I really do.
Pete, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised, bro. You're going to have all the
dude. I like
all the
everything.
action figures, dude.
I just get worried. Oh yeah. That's as a fan, I just get concerned and worried because I know the brand has been taking hits, and I just if this doesn't work, like, man, I hate to just kind of be the negative Nancy, but if this bombs, I'm just like, putting my hands up, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know.
Pete, I think you really need to go watch Guardians Volume 3. And to me, that gave me so much confidence.
I like James Gunn movies. I don't care about those characters at all.
Really? Oh man,
really?
I really don't.
It. And I just think what kind of helped me understand why I trust James Gunn is he had a plan for what he wanted to do with these Guardians movies. And obviously what Marvel wanted to do with the Avengers and Avengers Endgame kind of threw a wrench in some of his story plans. He's even kind of talked about it, how he had to rewrite certain characters in Volume 3. And even with all of that he had to fumble through and make work, it still works as a trilogy. You could watch those movies 1, 2, 3, and it would completely make sense. And I just think if he can handle that, I think he can most certainly handle a universe. And
so would you say that they're pretty much standalone movies, or they
feel standalone? Especially, I would say Volume 3 certainly feels standalone. It feels so.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like
different.
His movie, even his Marvel movie seems kind of standalone. Even though I've only seen 2 of the 3.
Yeah,
his most connected movie was, I feel like, Suicide Squad, and so I just get and he did that really well. He did. It seemed like it was effortless, but now this is what he's adapting this. What it seems like. Larger scale version of that, right? Like ensemble type deal. Maybe that's his thing. I don't know. I'm gonna do a show with Jet and argue with him about Hush. Like, I like ensemble things too. Like it's cool, but I just get worried because this is more mainstream.
Yeah, and I just don't think we should think universe equals bad. And just because the only DC universe we've gotten, in my opinion, has been overall pretty bad.
Well, that's it. Like, their history doesn't lend me to think that.
No, it doesn't.
They can do this, whereas their solo standalone stuff has been the better stuff they've made. Even like something like Aquaman and Wonder Woman, you could say, is even more standalone than the rest of the DCEU. But like things like the trilogy and even Man of Steel was. I just think their solo hero stuff it's definitely my preference. But I feel like when they were Warner Brothers, that was what they were good at, and that's all I know, because their shared universe just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's also like in the time period of the audience, like are these movies bombing because no one cares about this stuff anymore? Is it inflation? Like, what is it? We're still trying to figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
Is it a little too late to try to get that Marvel-esque universe? Like, you tried it once, why are you going to try it again? I just get nervous of repeating history.
Yeah. I think now there's so many things that go into that. I think there's a lot of day and date stuff. There's a lot of like, this movie's going to be on Disney Plus or Discovery in 3 months. Like, I'll wait,
Yeah, there's that stuff too.
Movies are expensive. Like, if I take the whole family, that's $100. I'll just wait because I'm paying $10 a month to watch it. I agree. In 3 months, so I think you have a little bit of that. And I think they need to make that window longer, and that'll push more people to the box office. Again, I think this whole strike and everything is going to like impact the whole way movies are made. I think there's that. As far as like the shared universe stuff, man, like shared universes also aren't like super like they're not as fresh of an idea as we always think. I think there's always been films where like things have connected, or like, oh, like there's other characters that kind of like pop around. I mean, Transformers, Star Wars is a connected universe, man. There's been multiple Star Wars movies and all these different characters. Like there's DC is just, that's what it is. There's all these characters, they populate that world. And I think it's hard to go back. Right. And I think the stuff with the Snyder stuff, that universe was it was like a weird take on these characters that people know. Right. And I would even say this, even sometimes your casting has to be it can't be super controversial. Like, I think people still had an issue with Affleck because overall, in the public persona of Ben Affleck, he's a bad actor. Oh, he's a bad actor. Why?
A lot of people say that.
Because
a lot of people say that.
And I'm like, really? From Gigli, bro? They're holding on to that, like stuff like that.
A movie that nobody saw is the movie.
Yeah, but it's really weird. Like, even with Robert Pattinson, oh, he's a bad actor. Yeah, I'm like, no, he's not though. Like, he's a great actor. But people see that, oh, the Twilight guy. I mean, it didn't really impact Batman that much because it made a lot of money, right? But I don't know, maybe it made $1 billion if it wasn't Pattinson. Who knows? Like, we don't know. But it's just like, when you cast, you have to really think, what's the public zeitgeist on these guys? Because like maybe this is the issue. That's why the casting these like
the unknowns,
unknowns, and then you get a beloved guy. Dude, Kevin Costner as Pa Kent. That's beautiful. But like,
yeah, I agree.
You can't predicate the film on Pa Kent, right? But like, maybe you're gonna get a villain who's played by maybe like Lex Luthor is like gonna be this big name actor, right? And you're like, oh shoot, I love him.
Well, bring it full circle, Superman. I mean, whether it's Brando, Costner, Stamp, or Shannon, like, again, you surround the unknown with the talents, and then Shannon. I guess Shannon's kind of like a rising star, and then the pocket, like, you give him the ability to succeed. It's like surrounding Bale with Liam Neeson and Gary Oldman and stuff like that.
Yeah. But my point was that the previous DC universe on film stuff just didn't connect because it started off real kind of dreary, right? And like I'm a fan.
To me,
I'm a
it's
fan
just
of most
a bunch
of
of
those
duct
films.
tape on leaks. It's a duct tape on a pipe.
Well,
a lot of it
but like it just didn't. It was all about deconstruction instead of building up. We never built up. We're going to get there in the fifth version of the fifth Justice League movies. We're going to get there.
Before
no one cares.
You get a Birds of Prey in there, and then you get other movies that just don't. It's there is definitely something to what Gunn said earlier on. Like, they were just giving the IP away to anybody who had an idea. You could tell, but you just look at the 9 film DCU, whatever, how many movies there are.
Yeah,
and you could just see like, yeah, that was a random one.
Just the best one is still Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman and the Suicide Squad are like the top, or like the two like crowns.
I love Shazam. If I had to,
I mean, Shazam's good, but Shazam's fun. But for me, I'm like, the best. If I had to pick the best, I still think it's Wonder Woman. That movie was really good.
Oh no, Wonder Woman's number 1. I would put Shazam.
Yeah. But like, but you see what I'm saying? But there's, it's like not easy. It's really easy to pick the best because there's not a lot that are good.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Yeah, I just, like I said, as a fan, I'm really nervous at this point because it's like I love.
Don't
this
be
stuff.
nervous, man. Don't be
Pete,
nervous.
Pete, let me ask you a question.
I love this stuff, and I'm like, I'm just like, I hope this works.
So, how do you feel about the Elseworlds label? Do you think that is? I mean, that's still an attempt of DC still kind of doing what they've always done.
I think that Elseworlds label is bullshit. I think that's a bunch of movies that are going to come to an end, and that'll be it. And that'll be the end of that.
So you think it ends with just the Batman? So we have the Batman and Joker, and
I mean, if we get a Joker 3, maybe, but I it's got to obviously make gangbusters. Yeah, I think once those movies come and go, they're gone, and then it's just strictly the Gunverse. They're already here. Superman and Lois, like it's done after season 4. That's fine. They'll move on from that. I just, I don't think anything of it.
I actually disagree. I feel like if
because they haven't announced anything. Like,
well, yeah, they can't. I mean, they said they haven't even announced the full.
No, I know that, but it wasn't even like when they announced everything else. He had his slate, whatever.
Man, they gotta wait for Aquaman to come out, dude, before they really put any like gas on anything. Like they just.
Really? Because it seems like, I don't know, like, do people not care about this stuff because this is the old dead universe anyway? Like, it seems like that's all anyone cares about is what's coming. You've got 2 DOAs hitting theaters.
Exactly. So why would I would just wait on stuff like that. I think first off, like this Joker Harley film's probably going to do $1 billion. Like people love that first one. It's got Lady Gaga in it. There's going to be it's going to be interesting. And I think this is going to be.
As long as it's not like a really bad movie, I think you.
I mean, who knows, man? I mean, we don't know.
Base alone could probably get
question marks, right? But here's the thing, like, and it has a bigger budget than last time, but that first thing did $1 billion, right? Like, so if these one-off Elseworld films, maybe they're smaller budgets, maybe they're a little more arty, and they do them like, hey, it's less riskful. Like, let's put a King Shark noir film out or something. I don't know, like whatever they do, like I think Elseworlds gives them a chance to like do some interesting things on the sides, right? And if they brand it right, if they go, hey, Elseworlds, like, and even a quick like iterations of some of your favorite characters.
See, things are just so in flux right now. Like, I don't know if that's even like a good thing, because we just had a movie with 2 Batmans in it that didn't do good. Now we're going to have, we have another Batman movie coming out, but then we have Brave and the Bold. There's the overlap there. Like, are people, is it just too much? Like, you've recently heard Iger say that like, there's too many Marvel shows. We diluted our own brand. Yeah. Well, DC's trying to keep up with them. They put out Peacemaker. They put out, what's his name on HBO Max? Like, now they're doing
Peacemaker,
the Penguin.
but Peacemaker did great.
No, I get it, but are we oversaturating the market now?
I think there's a lot to be said.
Like, would you be able to do like this shared universe, and then someone comes up like, yo, I got this crazy idea for this standalone like Wonder Woman movie or Aquaman or Flash? Like, do you think they would do that, or do you think just now they're like, well, now? And Warner Brothers, it had in the past was like, well, they have this like one Batman rule, right? Like, they used to have very strict rules on where a character can appear on a platform and whatnot. And like I still remember the old days, man. Like,
I agree with this. I agree with the whole thing of like once like the Matt Reeves trilogy is over, that's it. I think they're going to pull it back a little bit, but I still think the Elseworlds brand could be a thing where they can play with stuff. They can go, oh, hey, you want to do a Sugar and Spike movie where they're assassins? Okay, just take some crazy DC IP and like, this doesn't make sense in this world that we've created, but like, sure, let's do Brother Power the Geek. Let's do a movie with that guy, in the 60s. It's like a timepiece, like they can do some wild stuff if it doesn't make sense.
They could. I just honestly don't think that's not Gunn's job, in my opinion. Gunn's job is to build out the DC universe. I feel like Black Label movies are pitches that directors take to studios. Like, I don't think we're going to get like a Black Label movie from like James Gunn. I think he's going to be busy playing in his sandbox.
Well, I don't think it's going to be from him. But again, he's running the studio. He can go, oh, I love that idea. Let's make it happen. I mean, it's too early to even say it's going to work or not going to work. I think it's going to be a thing.
I need to see how it plays out past what was already in production or what was already planned by the previous regime. You need to prove to me that these just aren't holdover movies, that because they were successful, you're for, like, you can't can it. Like, obviously Peacemaker was successful. That's carrying over,
Yeah.
Waller, Viola Davis, she's coming over into the new universe. She's a lot of that stuff is migrating its way over. Suicide, like the gun stuff seems to be, he says like Blue Beetle's the first entry of his universe was the Suicide Squad. Like it seems to be like he's holding over a lot of those characters. So
yeah,
I'm curious to see what he does. Like, like you said, there's a lot of wait and see, and because we're fans and we're passionate, some of us are already on the ledge.
Yeah,
That's the way we are. We're crazy.
Have a drink.
We love a whack job who runs around at night with underwear outside his pants. Like, we're wacky people. We can't help it. I can't help it. I love reading a story about a 43-year-old man and his 16-year-old sidekick. Like, I'm a weird dude. It's the truth. And the rest of you are just as weird as me, because
that's the quote. We need to isolate that quote.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
it. Yeah. That's your bite. Like, I'm a weird dude. I got a couple of them in there today, but
yeah.
I don't know. That's just me. I just,
it'll be fine.
I know it'll be fine. I trust him. I think the guy's a brilliant filmmaker. He's made like one movie I don't like, but it's like, I'm like, man, I don't know anything. Like,
yeah.
I feel like those whack jobs. Like, what's the plan, Walter? Where is it? What's going on?
Yeah, you don't need to know though.
I don't need to know, but it's not. I'm just nervous.
It is just kind of strange and awkward because they kind of do pretend like Blue Beetle and Aquaman. I haven't heard anything about Aquaman 2 in so long, and it does kind of feel.
I haven't heard one positive thing about that movie. No. Everyone says it's horrible.
Watch it. That's the one that's going to make $1 billion.
It might.
It's Aquaman
2. China loved Aquaman, so
they
we'll
did.
See.
It made like $800 million. Most of its money came over there.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm excited. Hey, look, I like Amber.
I'm really nervous for Blue Beetle. That comes out next month, right? And I know we just got that second trailer 3 days ago. It looks fine. It doesn't look like a bad movie. I'm gonna go see it. Yeah, it looks fun.
Yeah, I like the idea of Blue Beetle. My kids like Blue Beetle, and
I want to see what they do with the lore of Blue Beetle. Like, I know Court Industries and such is involved in the movie, so I'm wondering if Ted is involved at some point.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see it.
I heard that what's his face plays him.
Who?
What's his Ted Lasso?
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I was hoping for some crazy name. I was hoping for somebody weirder.
Jason Sudeikis, I heard, plays him.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know if that's a spoiler. I don't know if we just broke our own rules.
That's been on the internet for a while. They show the suit inside the bug. Like,
I don't know.
It's kind of like, okay, but does he carry over? If that's a thing, does he carry over? Who knows?
I don't know. The only thing that we know carries over is going to be Peacemaker and Waller.
Yeah, they do have. Remember when they started all this stuff? James Gunn said they already know who their Booster Gold is. They just haven't announced it yet.
Yeah,
that makes me wonder how really like, I'm not going to pretend like I know everything. That if you want to listen to somebody who once spoke up your ass, there's tons of podcasts for that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to pretend like I know how contracts work. Like, like I would imagine, like, if they do, like, is this like a verbal agreement? Is it a handshake? Like, what is this? Like, why is it?
I don't know. But they made this like we already have an actor like for Booster Gold. It's like, oh, I wonder who that is.
Yeah,
that's kind of like faded away. So who knows, dude?
I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's busy, fun. Man.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun,
I like this stuff because this creates a lot of good conversation. Like, even though I'm not happy, I'm happy we had this conversation because I think it's good. This is a lot more fun.
Did it help you? Do you feel better?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Because when we argue on Twitter or text message, it's like I'm at work and I got to do things in between, and I only got so many, and I got sausage fingers, so I hit 3 letters at once. So it's like, like I can't really express my thoughts and feelings and everything. And then tomorrow I get to argue with Holzman, which is even better.
Oh man,
I can't wait.
But he's more. I think Holzman is more like.
He's more like you.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, he knows it's gonna be. You just wait and see.
That's fine, but I still want to argue with him.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I like her.
That, and they finally caught that Long Island serial killer. So there's a lot of buzz around here.
Was it him? Did he do it? Did he catch him? Holzman is the hero.
You're gonna listen straight out of Gotham.
I always do.
That's how you do it, baby. That's how you get the audience to move along.
Hey,
from group to group, podcast to podcast. I don't know. It's just me, but right. I'm glad you guys are pumped for this.
Yeah,
I'm glad people are happy. Generally, I'm glad that there are a lot of people who are excited for this because that's good. That's just good.
Yeah,
like DC fans have been taking a few hits lately, and it's nice to see some people who are positive about it. And most of the people I've seen who are rational question it. They're along the lines of me and just kind of concerned and whatnot. But it's pretty 50-50, but it's good because it's creating a lot of conversation within the Twitter sphere that I enjoy having.
Yeah,
I'm having a blast posting side characters of Superman on Twitter.
I noticed that. You're like, put these characters.
Yeah. Like,
Hey,
where's
I'm waiting
Maggie
for Bibbo.
Sawyer?
Where's Bibbo?
Oh my! I could play Bibbo.
You could play Bibbo. I want to see Bibbo. I want to see Bibbo. I want to see Maggie Sawyer. Fine. I want to see Turpin. I want to see the Newsboy Legion. I want to see Dubalex. I want to see the Guardian.
A real Guardian, not Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, I want to see the real Jim Harper.
That's right. And the Golden Blue.
I want to see him. So I want to see
Science Police.
Oh God, yeah. See, all that stuff's great, dude. Like Cadmus,
yeah. Where are they based in? Metropolis.
yeah. So I mean, all that. I think all that stuff's gonna come, man.
I hope so. I hope so. One time, a Superman movie, I got an empty pod and nothing came out of it.
Yeah,
those Easter eggs.
Yeah. So well, I think we're gonna get a lot of the, maybe not the Newsboy Legion, but I think we're gonna get a lot of that.
He links obscure stuff, man. I wouldn't.
Well, yeah. Who knows? I'm just saying, like, we'll probably get a lot of the stuff that you want. Those movies need cops, and they need bar hops, and they need aliens and stuff. And Superman, especially if you read that Byrne era, all the way to, I don't know. I always call like the up to New 52 the Byrne era, because the Triangle era, like that stuff is the sweetest Superman stuff. And I feel like
up to like Final Crisis.
Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like where you got all the books went book to book, like all those characters, that stuff's all Cat Grant. They'll all be there, bro.
Wonder Woman was there. Maybe Superman can try to kiss her. She could reject him. I remember that. I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, Superman gets rejected too. This is life.
Yeah, man.
It's like, I don't feel so bad anymore. This guy can fly.
All right. I was going to say, I know we got to wrap. Micah, you got to read Strange Adventures, because I think that's one of the best takes on Mr. Terrific. Like the JSA stuff's really good too. When he kind of first appeared in, I think it was like late 90s or whatever. The Jeff Johns and what's the other guy's name? David Goyer Robinson. That stuff is really good.
Yeah,
but he's kind of floundered here and there. The New 52 stuff's not great. The Terrific stuff was good, like the team.
For a
the
while, he was Power Girl's boyfriend. That was their big thing.
Yeah,
the Power Girl, Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, it wasn't. I just didn't think
that was like Earth 2 of the New 52. That's how it was getting extra weird.
Yeah, Strange Adventures by Tom King.
Yeah.
Freaking
okay.
You're like this is hopefully that's the take. And with Tom King kind of part of his like brain trust, of writers and stuff, I'm kind of putting faith into that relationship there. So maybe he'll be a little more akin to the Strange Adventures version of who he was. So he's a great character.
That's not bad. Out of all the Superman stories that have influenced the movie, or supposedly, I'm actually collecting Ending Battle. That's the one I haven't read. So I'm in the middle of doing that. So I will. I'll probably pick up your suggestions as well, Justin, to try to get myself a little bit more well-rounded.
Yeah, be informed, guys. Be informed.
That's a good part too. Collecting the stuff, reading and everything. I don't know how much of this stuff, Micah, you've read, but for me, it's always enjoyable to pick up the stories that are inspired the movies. It doesn't have to be the exact take, but I like reading up on it.
Yeah, hopefully we get something similar to Batman the Imposter with Superman. That'd be kind of interesting before the film comes out.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, that's one thing, is like that whole like Tomlin, Reeves, Dano group is doing, is like they've taken their movie stuff and they've really done a fun little thing with it in print. I know Imposter isn't really like connected, but they tease you a little bit.
Yeah,
and I like Riddler Year One, so that's good stuff. So get informed, hit up your local comic shops, don't do digital, Kowalski. And let's wrap this thing. We'll start off with Micah.
Well, it was an honor being here with you gentlemen, and hopefully after this discussion, Pete, I know you love arguing just for arguing's sake, but hopefully you're a little bit more positive. I think your concerns are obviously justified. There's a lot going on with DC. It's a lot to deal with, and I think if anyone can put this together and make some great movies out of it, I think James Gunn's got to be one of the top candidates. So I think DC's in good hands moving forward, and hopefully it is all good. And if it's bad, me and Justin and I will say it stinks. And but it was great
Just
being
like,
here today
man, this is
talking to you.
mad rad. That's just
Hey, I'm always honest. If something's bad, I'll just tell you I didn't like it.
he loves Steel as much as I love John Henry Irons. It's a bad movie.
It's a bad movie.
Shaq is awesome in that movie. Come on.
Oh God.
It's hammer time.
Why do you sound like Arnold?
Because that's how he sounded, dude. When he said that line, he definitely said it like Arnold, man. He was like, "This is my Arnold line." He knew it, dude. He wanted a cape, dude, and they said no. Capes don't make sense. He wanted all the stuff that Steel had, and they said no.
We still haven't gotten a proper looking Steel in live action. I'll say that. As much
That's
as
the
I
one
love
thing Pete wants.
Steel,
Pete wants Steel so bad, and I said, "You can't. He has to die first."
they're not going to kill him again. There's no way I'll get Steel after the death.
They will
Let's
in
see
10
what-
years. In 10 years, they'll kill him. Once we love him, you can't kill him until we love
I'll be
him.
dead in 10 years.
Well,
Steel
I'll let you know, dude.
Steel should have been in the Flash. That would have been awesome.
Steel should have spin off
that would've been cool.
out of Man of Steel.
And it
I'm
was
still
Shaq.
mad they never did that. I don't care who it is.
Yeah, that was the time to do it. Oh man. All right.
Anyway, all right. Justin plugs.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, Justin M. Kowalski. Boom. And then hopefully I can get a new Batman 89 chapter by chapter out soon. So
Hopefully. It'll
those are
probably
fun.
be me.
That'd be me. I just
Probably-
dude, every time I do one, I end up watching that whole movie again. I've seen
It's
that
so
movie
good,
like
isn't
30
it?
times in the last year.
God damn you guys for not showing up for the Flash. Well, not you guys, but you know who I mean. Those
Yeah.
guys who didn't show up for the Flash. Damn them. Anyway, you can follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram. What's the Threads? I'm on Threads. And Zack Snyder's favorite, of course, Vero at Pete Illustrated. You can follow, if you like listening to me rant a lot, you can follow my other podcast. That's Straight Outta Gotham. I do that with the champion of Long Island, Eric Holzman, at straight_O_G on both Instagram and Twitter. There's a Facebook group like BOF and a Facebook fan page just like BOF. So check that stuff out if you like what you hear here. I also do a Spider-Man themed podcast, the Italian Spider-Man Coalition. That's over there at Italians for the number 4 Spidey. I'm all over Batman.com, Batman on Film YouTube. I'm on the Batman Book Club at Ryan Lauer, the world's most famous podcast. That's fun. That's all good stuff. And that's it, man. Like, just we're excited. We're getting ready. You know, just a lot of news to talk about. This is the fun part, the speculation, the back and forth. What is not in the movie, and it's I may not like what I hear, but I'm still pumped. I can't wait to see this. Like, whether it's a mess or not, I'm going to be there opening night. So. Superman Legacy. Here we go, baby. A new era. It's a new era. It's a lot of new discussion. So just remember that. Batman on Film, authoritative, definitive.
The original.
The daggum original. Goddamn Kowalski. Banner goes down.
I can't. I gotta go more east before I can say dadgum. I just can't. It doesn't make sense for me.
Like he hasn't been to Texas already. What a scrub. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys.
You have been listening to the official podcast of the one and only Batman on Film website. On Twitter, follow BOF at Batman on Film and the Batman Podcast Network at BatPod Network. For Jet and everyone at Batman on Film, I'm announcer Rachel. Thanks for listening to the authoritative, definitive, the original Batman on Film.